Hey, all you Garbearians out there. Welcome to another edition of the Garbear Review, and in case you haven't heard or noticed, we're going over X-Men Days of Future Past. And of course, I am equipped with the best shirt impossible, but it is Doctor Who. But who cares, because they're both awesome. And yes, I'm listening to Huey Lewis and the News from our Back to the Future soundtrack, and is back in time because it is accurate for this little review we're going to be doing, because, like I said, X-Men Days of Future Past is here, and I gotta say, this is very exciting, so exciting, because I have been waiting for this for a very long time. And yes, it's another superhero film, and yes, it's another marvelous attempt at a joke. Yes, and of course, the X-Men franchise. And yet, it turns out to be the next best and biggest thing out there. And they're right in my opinion. It ended up and I'm right in my opinion, because it's actually been said, it has been one of the best Marvel movies since Avengers. But don't take it from little old me. Take it from any real Marvel fan, including myself, or anyone out there who has seen all their films, and read all the comic books. X-Men Days of Future Past changed so much in the film franchise. And for those who need a refresher course, basically in this film they go back in time to stop a global war between human and mutants. Yes, it's pretty much been the whole setup since the first X-Men movie. We've been trying to stop this war from happening, but nothing has been done until today. Now, here's where people lose track. Them going into this film and going back in time, sending Logan back in time, it's basically them erasing everything that has happened until now. It's gone. It doesn't exist. So in conclusion, X-Men, X-Men 2 Origins, and X-Men 3 United, they don't exist anymore. The only films that exist are Days of Future Past and anything in the future, and the First Class movie, because it sets it up. The others are now inert. It means nothing. Kaput. They don't exist. So if there's a certain X-Men movie that you don't want to, that you kind of ignore, and don't give the light of day, here's a perfect example. Here's what you can do. It's out of your mind. It doesn't exist. I don't know what film you're talking about. I don't know. The only two X-Men movies I know are Days of Future Past and First Class. That's all I know. Which is actually great, because let's face it, Origins sucked major donkey balls. It might have been United. Who the fuck cares? I don't care. X-Men was good. The franchise is awesome. It's been promoting, it's been giving, like, superhero mutants an amazing plug out there, and this just clarifies it. But I also think that it's just what we needed. But it follows any fandoms, if you needed it. Doctor Who, Sherlock, even Disney sometimes has a good thing, and it will go bad, and it will bite you in the ass. You basically pay for this movie, and it was what you wanted in a film like this. The CGI was great, no pixelation, no distortion. The character development could have been a lot better. I know I've said this a lot in the past, and I said it actually in the last review, but it's true. Good character development leads to good stories, which leads to a happy audience. At least that's what I see, and when I, as an audience member watching, I see this happen all too often, that they fuck up. I however, did not approve of Beast's younger self, from the fast-paced CGI. It kind of distorted him and made him look like really bad in the scenes that they made him do this in. It was just bad. I really can't explain how bad it was, because it was just horrible. But other than that, everyone seemed to be playing their respective roles from First Class. Patrick Stewart was back, and his buddy Ian McKellen playing X-Men's Professor X and Magneto, as well as James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. Jennifer Lawrence is back. Hugh Jackman is back. Ellen Page. Like I said, everyone is back in full effect. And a fun fact here, actually, in First Class, in an interview, McAvoy actually didn't want the role of Professor X, because apparently, now this is where it gets funny, he didn't think he or anyone else should play a character of a younger or older version of Patrick Stewart, because he was afraid that he wouldn't do it justice. And I find that very funny, and actually Stewart very funny, and it's true. And it's amazing that he actually did a great job of the character of the younger character, except for Nicholas Hoult. Don't ask me why. I don't care what you think about it, but I personally don't like his face. I don't like Nicholas Hoult. I mean, he's a fine actor, and I'm sure he's a great human being and a great person to hang out with. I just don't like his face. I just don't think. I mean, think of And the funny thing is that I loved Warm Bodies, but it wasn't because of him. I can guarantee that it wasn't because of him. Watch the review. I'll even put it up in the description below. I didn't like his face, and I probably said it in that review as well. I just didn't like him. I mean, who did? But the thing is, from him to the love of Lannister, Mr. Peter Dinklage as Bolivar Trask, loved him in Game of Thrones and in Elf, and lest we forget the man who stole the show in this movie, Evan Peters, who played Quicksilver. He was, however, in the film for a very short time, but it was perhaps the best scene in the entire goddamn movie. And it also raises some questions and concerns, because if you can count and if you know movie law, there are count them, two people playing this character in two different Marvel films. Yes, no one knows why they didn't. I don't know why they did it. They just use the same actor. My personal guess. Your guess is as good as mine, but my guess is that Peters is the young. This is how I see it. Evan Peters is playing the young Quicksilver, while Kick-Ass Aaron Johnson will play the adult version of the character, which seems kind of legit considering how they went back in time in this movie, and it was in it was in the past when they meet Quicksilver. So I'm guessing in the future, Quicksilver will become Aaron Johnson, and it kind of works out. It seems legit how X-Men and Avengers could reach an agreement at some point, and we can get a crossover film happening here. But who knows, honestly. But look, it was a great film with great actors, with great timing, with great action, with a great story. I mean, I don't know if you know, but the X-Men comic, that the Days of Future Past comic versions of X-Men were probably one of the best ones to date, and especially of its generation, because it was an interesting storyline to see mutants or like people go back in time to change or try to stop a war from or something from happening. It was I actually really enjoyed it, and I know you will too, so that's why I'm definitely recommending this film. And there were some fun cameos, since 1, 2, and 3 don't exist anymore, and since it's Disney, let's keep that going with our next film, Maleficent, the fucking Sleeping Beauty one, man. We're just gonna keep that going, and we shall see how how Disney comes from one of the best villain to bring in one of the best villains to a live action role, and we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned, fans.